Welcome to the Epcotian Adventure,
a podcast where we talk about all things Disney, but we're Epcot-centered.
including tips and tricks, festivals and favorites, and the very latest in our rankings and reviews.
But we're still old enough to remember when they actually did close Disney World. Wait, too soon?
This is episode 154. What if Walt Disney World closed tomorrow?
Or, this is not a Disney Are You Listening episode. Please don't close.
So now please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the podcast as we embark on our Epcotian adventure.
We call it Epcot.
Howdy folks, and welcome to episode 154 of the Epcotian Adventure. I'm Rod.
And I'm Sue.
And, well, today we're going to pretend... Well, I hate to say it this way. Is
Let's
it
not
back
pretend.
in March of 2020 again? And
No.
they're going to close... They better not ever close Disney World again, folks. That was traumatic. For a Disney adult, that's really traumatic. Forget the pandemic. Disney closed. I mean, come on.
Can you imagine how your kids would have felt if when you got to Florida it was closed?
Oh, they don't close Florida. No,
Well, I know they don't close the state of Florida, but, you know...
That's how you know it's bad.
So we're going to pretend that Disney closes tomorrow. What would you do?
Or, let's look at it as if, no, there's not a better way to look at that.
Yeah.
So
It's
it's
scary
sort of
thought.
a giant parks-wide must-do.
So like when we did our Desert Island edition, or when we've done the must-dos, this is kind of all-encompassing.
Yeah, so you have one last shot to do these things. Where are you going? So we've set ourselves some specific categories that we're going to hit. We haven't seen each other's lists. We may have the same identical list because we have a lot of the same must-dos. So the categories that we're going to hit as our last chance to do these things if Disney were to close tomorrow, which it's not, was going to be the resort we would stay at, the one park that we would go to, and we'll explain that in a second, the one ride we would do, a food location and what we would get there, a merchandise item, and a drink location and what we would get there. So, Rod, do you want to start us off?
Well, sure. My dream at this point, I mean, we've stayed at quite a few of the resorts, but admittedly not all of them. My dream really at this point would be to stay at the Wilderness Lodge Copper Creek Cabins. They're a DVC property, but you can rent them nightly, just like you can any of the other DVC properties around the Walt Disney World Resort or Disneyland Resort, or Hawaii, or Florida, or South Carolina, or maybe someday Branson, Missouri. That would be really cool. So the Copper Creek Cabins are kind of all off to themselves, and they are 1 and 2 bedroom literal cabins that sit out in the woods just outside the Wilderness Lodge. And to me, outside of staying at maybe the cabins like we did at the campground, this is the next best thing. You have the whole resort right there, and you have a 2-bedroom cabin. I mean, come on, it doesn't really get much better than that in my idea, unless it's maybe a Polynesian on the lake or something. But this is mine. This is the one I really want to do. What about you, sis?
Those Polynesian bungalows on the lake are very tempting. To me, that's less of a Disney experience, though. It's a pretty cool thing that you can do at Disney, but I would go full-on Disney experience. And for me, nostalgia took over here. I love Animal Kingdom Lodge. The time we got to stay there was incredible. Wilderness Lodge, the lodge itself, is one of my bucket list ones that I really want to stay at. I've always wanted to stay at G-Flow. However, all that said, I let nostalgia take over on this one. I have a particular fondness for bookends, and so I'm going to go back to the Contemporary. That was the very first resort we stayed at when we hit Disney World. I would love, if this was going to be my last trip, I would love to do Contemporary with a park view. I want to see the Space Mountain and the castle from my room, from my balcony. And that, to me, is the quintessential Walt Disney World experience. So that's where I would go. And I just want to hang out where I can watch the monorail go through my hotel. Because what's better than that?
That is so cool. Yeah, I very fond memories of the Contemporary. I agree. That would be such a great, like you said, a bookend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a particular fondness for bookends. So that's where I would go.
All right, so Sue, what would be the park that you would go to one last time for a vibe reason or nostalgia reason or for whatever reason.
Yeah, so since this isn't part of the food category, it isn't part of the ride category, it's its own category that we're judging. So it really is just about, like, where would you go to walk around, absorb the vibes, look at the pretty scenery, all the things. And for me, of course, it's Epcot.
It's got to be Epcot.
We're Epcotian.
That's the whole idea for the podcast, for heaven's sakes.
I don't think this is a surprise to anybody.
If we had said anything else. Well, no, I think to me a real close second might be Animal Kingdom.
Same.
Just because of literally the vibes of
yes.
that place.
Now, if it was an empty park and I had it to myself and I got to walk around, say they closed yesterday instead, and I get to walk around a park with no one in it, my close second might actually be Magic Kingdom, because it is, of course, quintessentially Disney. But, of course, if I get to choose one and one alone, it has to be Epcot.
Well, and like I just said, yeah, Epcot's mine too, because, of course, it's the Epcotian Adventure. What else were we going to say?
Not exactly groundbreaking there. Yeah, so Rod, why don't you tell us what your one ride that you would get to do one last time?
I struggled with this one, because every time we go, we do Pirates, we do the People Mover, and we do, like, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and we do Rise of the Resistance. But for me, like Sue said, it's the nostalgia. I'm headed to Living with the Land, and I'm going to stay on until they kick me off. I'm just going to keep going round and round and round, because my blood pressure drops immensely on that attraction. Just listening to the sounds, the smells, because it has the pirate water. It has that great Disney water smell. And the music. Everything about that attraction to me is going to make me want to be on it until they kick me out of the park. What about you?
I love that answer. I actually have 6 different things written down because, of course, I do. But ultimately, Living with the Land was also top of my list. But since you said it, I'm going to go a different route. And I'm going to go and say my last ride is going to be Spaceship Earth. And I'm going to thank the Phoenicians one last time. If you, for some reason, have listened to us and you don't know what Thank the Phoenicians is from, we haven't addressed that in a while. That is from Epcot, from the attraction Spaceship Earth. And there's a part in it where she's talking about, it's Dame Judi Dench. She's giving us the history of communication. And it's way more interesting than it sounds, I promise. And there's a part where she actually says,
"Remember how easy it was to learn your ABCs? Thank the Phoenicians. They invented them."
And so, because of that, at the end of every episode, we thank the Phoenicians. At the end of my last book that I wrote, I thank the Phoenicians.
There are shirts where you can thank the Phoenicians
I have
now.
2 of them. It's a thing. So that's where that comes from. And if it were truly my last ride at Disney World, I would probably go thank the Phoenicians.
Such a great attraction.
Yeah.
And it's one of the last remaining that hasn't changed all that much.
Yeah, it's very similar to what it was on opening day.
So, Sue, what would be the one food location or restaurant you would go to at a park if Disney were to close tomorrow?
Now, we did, Rod, you just said this, but I'm going to clarify for our listening audience. And I'm going to say we did limit ourselves to in-park restaurants only, in-park locations only.
We had to. I had a list of like 40.
Seriously. Like, I think your top one was at a resort. I had one at Disney Springs, and then we're like, is that even the top answer? I don't know. So we limited ourselves to in-park only. So I am verging away from Epcot. I am going to Animal Kingdom. I am going to Yak and Yeti. And I am getting the ahi tuna nachos.
I kind of thought you might.
I mean, that's not really a surprise, but if you hadn't heard us talk about these in the past, it is one of my very favorite things that they have on park, anywhere, at any of the parks, at any of the, even resorts, if we were to include resorts. These are at Yak and Yeti, like I said. They are currently $23.79. It's on the shareables menu. It says it's for 2, but they're not the boss of you. If you want to eat all those nachos, you do that. And it is sushi-grade ahi tuna, Asian slot, crispy fried wontons, wasabi aioli, and a sweet soy glaze. And it is so good. It's just so good. It's the perfect mixture of everything that is yummy. And that would be the one that I would want to say goodbye on the park.
Well, for me, I'm not going to go very far. I'm staying in Epcot, walking around to the Japan Pavilion and going to Shikisai.
Oh, good answer.
And I am splurging on the Wagyu steak. It comes with potatoes and shishito peppers, and it's $88. And I've had some Wagyu there already, and it was like butter in my mouth. It was so good. I want the whole thing this time. So I'm going to splurge and get the Wagyu steak.
I love that answer. And if you do it at the right time, you can watch the fireworks show out the window while you eat
right. Which we got to do when we were there. It was incredible.
Sure did. That was amazing.
It's one of those little-known fireworks views that people don't think about. But it's really a good view from there.
All right, Rod, what are you going to purchase as your last merchandise item from Walt Disney World?
Well, there's only one or two things that I collect. We do collect some pins when they mean something to us. I do collect polos from the different places. But the one thing I have to get every year that if it's available, I'm going to get it on my last trip is the annual Christmas onesie. I love it. I love it. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I love those Mickey Christmas onesies with the mouse ears, and I get them every year. I usually order them through Shop Disney, but they do carry them inside the parks as well during the Christmas festivals that are around the resort. So it's the one thing that I always get. So that would be my one thing.
I love that. That is a great answer. I fluctuated back and forth on what my one thing would be. I was like, maybe I just need a nostalgic t-shirt that just says Walt Disney World on it. And maybe I need a last set of ears. And, you know, I went back and forth. And we do collect mugs. We have a ton of mugs, getting one that actually said Walt Disney World on it, as opposed to one of the specific parks. I don't know. There's a lot of good merch. However, I landed on what I thought you were about to say, and every year we get the dated Christmas ornament. So I think that would probably be my last purchase with the date on it so that we knew what year it was, the whole thing. So I think that would probably be my one thing.
All right, the last category is the drink. Sue, what would be your final drink at Disney World before they closed?
Okay, so I think y'all know what you expect us to say here, and that would be to go to Nomad Lounge at Animal Kingdom. And that is an experience in and of itself that cannot be beat, and I'm expecting Rod's going to say that. I'm hoping Rod's going to say that.
Maybe.
So
maybe not.
So I'm actually going to go a different route and leave Nomad to Rod, and I am going to go back to Epcot, and I am going to go into the Morocco Pavilion. I'm going to go to Oasis Sweets and Sips, and I'm going to get the frozen mint tea, and I'm going to opt to have the Bombay Sapphire Gin added. I'm going to take this delicious drink. I'm going to go sit in the Fez house for a little bit in the shade and the quiet and the beautiful, beautiful architecture. I'm going to enjoy that last drink at Epcot.
I love it.
Rod, what's yours?
Well, I did look at the Night Monkey at Nomad Lounge.
It's a classic for a reason.
I also looked at the Yak Attack at Yak and Yeti Lounge.
Ooh, also a good one.
Oh, those are both Animal Kingdom. Then I also looked at the Toasted Marshmallow Old Fashioned at the Tune-In Lounge over at Hollywood Studios. But I settled for not leaving Epcot. If I'm Epcotian, I'm staying at Epcot. I'm going to GO82, and I'm going to order a bottle of Presqu'île Pinot Noir from Santa Maria, California for $74. And I'm going to split it with my friends from Florida and Disney. So Sue, Colin, Becky, Brian, Stephanie, John, Emily, and Noel. So, yes, we're going to split a bottle of wine, watch the fireworks, and toast to Epcot one last time. Of course, we're assuming that Disney's going to reopen someday, but just in case.
That's kind of a depressing episode if you think about it in the context of them actually closing. But
I hadn't thought of it that way. It is kind of depressing.
I know.
I mean, it was depressing when they did close back in March of 2020.
But man, it made it exciting when they reopened.
That's so true. It's the velvet rope principle. You can't go. You have to go as soon as it reopens.
Right. So before we move on, we do have one last segment that we're going to do real quick on the end of this episode, but we do want to know what your favorite things are. What would you have to hit if it was the very last day able to attend Walt Disney World?
So way back in November of last year, episode 131, we talked about our predictions for the new Soarin' Across America at Epcot and Disney California Adventure. Well, I said that the 12 locations should be Disneyland, Hawaii, Morro Bay in California, Seattle with the Space Needle, Alaska with the glaciers, Yellowstone with the geysers, the St. Louis Arch, the Branson Strip, Texas Stockyards, and the Louisiana Bayous. Sue, what did you suggest that they should be?
Well, I had some of those same ones on my list, and I said Statue of Liberty, California Redwoods, Mississippi Riverboat, Grand Canyon, Mount Rushmore, the Washington, D.C. Mall, Lighthouse in Maine, Yellowstone, specifically the geysers, Alaska, Hawaii, New Orleans Mardi Gras, and Texas, something with cowboys and cows.
So my smells were with Hawaii. It was pineapple, salt air with Glacier Bay, Alaska, and I said sulfur for Yellowstone.
Yeah, what were you thinking?
Well, you even said in that episode, sulfur, ew. What were your smells?
My scents were going to be pine, the island scent, and beignets.
So what is really in Soarin' now, it starts with the Cape Canaveral launch with the rocket, so we got that one right. Then it shifts to the New York Statue of Liberty. Sue, you got that one right. Maine Lighthouse. Sue, you nailed that one.
I got that one.
Washington, D.C. Mall. You hit that one right on the head. Louisiana Bayous. I scored a point. Branson Scenic Railroad. Look at that. Even a Branson popped in. I got a point there.
That's crazy to me.
Mount Rushmore was you. Wyoming Cattle. Grand Canyon. You nailed that one. Alaska Denali National Park. Sue, you got that one. And I got that. We both got that one. And Hawaii. We knew those were going to have to be
They
there.
had to be,
so
yeah.
we both got points on that one too. And then LA at night with Hollywood. And then back into the park, either Epcot or California Adventure. So we did really good on that. I think
We
you
did.
scored the most on that one, though.
Yeah, I didn't count points, but I think I might have won that
Let's
one.
see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You 8. You got 8 of them.
Woohoo!
And I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6.
Okay, so the 3 scents that they actually use then are fresh grass, which is that earthy, dirty smell that we love from the elephant scene in Soarin' Over the World. So Soarin' Around the
Soarin' Around the World, yes.
Soarin' Around the World. Swampy, mossy water, which goes over the Louisiana bayous. I don't think they've used that one before, and I'm excited. I hope it's like a pirate's water smell.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That would be really cool. Why aren't people talking about this? And then the third one is the hibiscus that they use over Hawaii, and that is that island scent. So I did get one of the scents right.
Nice job.
Not too bad. So that's just kind of a fun little recap. You know, obviously Disney does listen to us, of course.
Of course they do.
And I do hope you know that we're kidding when we say that, because we do have no in with the Disney company.
Well, like you said, if they are listening, please don't close Disney. We were just kidding.
We were just kidding. That was a what if scenario. So that was kind of fun. I enjoyed doing that.
That was fun. Before we go, we always have to thank the Phoenicians. So thank you, Phoenicians.
Thank you, Phoenicians. And don't forget to rate, review, like, share, and subscribe. It really does help other people find us. You can find us on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and wherever you listen to podcasts.
The Epcotian Adventure is a $1,000 brunch production and a proud gold member of D23. Thanks for joining us today for episode 154 of the Epcotian Adventure. I'm Rod.
And I'm Sue.
And we'll see you in live.
Bye.
Thank the Phoenicians.
The Epcotian Adventure is a $1,000 brunch production and a proud gold member.
Now that you spelled it right, you can't say
Crowned gold member.
it. Remember.